Dan the man from Dubai. So happy to see you, man.
Good to see you, man.
We've known each other for years, and I've sensed a different energy within you. And I wanted to say, like, man, we got to do this. We want to talk about this. Something crazy happened in your life recently. What was that?
Well, I mean, lots of crazy stuff happened, but I think you spoke about the heart attacks about 4 months ago. I had a heart attack by surprise. I was in the gym.
Which when you told me, I'm like, this is like one of the healthiest guys I know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't smoke.
Really caught me off guard.
I don't drink.
Yeah.
I was going to the gym an hour or two a day. I've been in great shape. I understand nutrition. So it took me off guard, to be honest with you, you know. So yeah, and that was a big thing. And you know, someone said to me, I bet you changed your life afterwards, right? Like, I bet you got like healthy afterwards. And actually the opposite happened. I started putting on weight because I thought I was doing everything right. I was into biohacking. I was doing infrared saunas in the mornings. And the truth of it is, I mean, you know, someone said something to me. I never really got hurt. I didn't collapse. I had some chest pain. I drove myself to the hospital. They did an operation. I was out the next day. So in terms of pain, I didn't experience pain. But a couple of things happened. Number one, I looked at my life and I thought I understood that could have been it. And like an hour before I was going into surgery, I was thinking, what if I don't come out? And the emotional thing of thinking about—
How scary was that?
Yeah, well, I was thinking about, like, as a father to my son, like how would he feel? Have I given him enough guidance? Thought about getting my affairs in order, and people don't know where all my stuff is, and you know, so that was a big, like, wake up call.
Dude, I can't even imagine.
That was a big wake up call.
It's like goosebumps listening to that.
Yeah, and you know, because I'm also going through a divorce, so I'm finalizing my final stages of my divorce, and so
yeah, and I've been really fun hanging out with your kid. Our son's been hanging out today. He's 9 years old.
Great, yeah.
The firecracker.
Well, they both are, man. It's amazing to see how quickly they're bonded. So going through that, it just made me think. You know, look, I know where all my assets are and stuff, but if I died, like now, who's going to pick that up? Who's going to know where that is? So it just a lot of things hit home, you know. And I had like friends messaging me when they knew I was in hospital, like, hey, is there anything you need? And I was just like, you know, the only thing I need is if the worst happens, you help like my ex-wife and take care of my son. And I had friends going like, don't talk stupid, you know, like, but that was what was going through my mind. So for that split second, that
was the main thing going through your mind was your kid, basically.
Yeah, man. I was at peace, to be honest with you.
Wow.
Yeah. But then when I came out of everything,
not many people can say that.
Yeah, but you know what? I think I've been through so many ups and downs in life. Yeah. When I go through the downs, and sometimes look, I'm not overly religious, but I'm more spiritual and I believe in God. I think it's God's plan.
Yeah.
I just kind of release stuff to God, man. Like you know, I've been doing all sorts of biohacking. I've been doing all sorts of health stuff. I've been disciplined. Being in a hospital bed after having a heart attack, you go, hey, I've got no power. You can go like that, you know?
I think you just hit on something so beautiful though, because it's like, to your point, you're a spiritual guy, and it's like some people I've heard people get into depression. What is this? I can't believe this. You know, I exercise every day, I eat right, I take supplements, and I got a heart attack. Like, but then what you did, I believe, is the right way, where you basically have this philosophy. Maybe you could talk to us more about your mantra. I try my best, and I leave the rest.
Yeah.
And I'm at peace with whatever happens as long as I try my best.
Yeah.
And I believe that's the cure for anxiety, depression, you know, all these things. So talk to us a little bit more about your mantra on that.
Okay, so let me just take back a second, because I've actually experienced depression as well. So if I go back now, for most of my life, and I've had ups and downs in my life, but I didn't believe in depression. Okay, and I spent a lot of time with Tony Robbins, and he would talk about emotions, and we do an emotion, we don't live in emotion, we actually put ourselves in that place. And I understood that we can change. From my learnings with him, we can change our emotions. Like, if I told you a joke right now, you could be laughing, and so your emotions can change like that. Yeah. So I didn't believe in depression. And then I went through loads of stuff about 5 years ago, which just really cut me to like a deep level, and I ended up getting in depression. And I was like, wow, this is it. And actually I used those skills to get me out of depression. I used Tony's skills, so motion equals emotion. I got myself in the gym, I got my body moving, I put things in my ears, and I bit by bit, step by step, I started putting myself out. But what that has done, number one, that gave me a bigger depth and more compassion and understanding of people, having gone through it. Because I've got to realize, when I was younger, I couldn't believe, if you told me someone was depressed, I was like, no, they're not depressed. I'd brush it off, like callously. But I think when you go through more stuff, you develop more wisdom. and more skills. And so now I look back, having gone through it with a lot more compassion and understanding people, right? And I think, and then again, understanding myself, and then you've got to realize there's things you can control and things you can't control. And you can only ever do your best. And then when things go the way you can't control, what you can control is your internal emotions to it. Right? You can't control what's going to happen if like a natural disaster happens, or God forbid somebody close to you dies. That's out of your hands. Yeah. All you can do is what you can control internally, what you make it mean. And so I just understood, hey, if it's my time, like again, let me use my son as a perfect example. Okay, so growing up, or my son growing up, and me going through a divorce with his mum. I'm looking at him. I want to protect him. I want to spend more time with him. I want to do all those things. So I'm making it mean I'm going to be out of the house from him. I'm only going to see him X amount of times a week instead of every day. I want to give him love. I want to give him all this stuff. But here's the thing. If I spoil him, he can become spoiled, right? Sometimes if something happened, God forbid I had died that time, what does that mean for him? That he's grown up, father, maybe he grows up with more muscle. Maybe he becomes a stronger man. Maybe it's something, there's a blessing in everything is my point. Do you get what I mean? Like in God's plan, whatever happens and it looks bad at one point, there's always another benefit somewhere along the line. Your worst day becomes your best day in some ways. And, so, and whatever's challenging for you gives you strength. We wouldn't be the entrepreneurs we are today and the successful guys we are today if we hadn't had challenges. You can't grow muscle without going to the gym, and there's a gym of life, basically.
And it's funny, right? Because some of the most amazing people I've met in my life, you included, have come from some pretty difficulties. They didn't just come from like a cushy life. I mean, you take a look at people like Oprah, who's went through so much abuse. And so many people. As a matter of fact, one of the most incredible people I ever met was just in Africa. I just went. And then I found out that her dad left before she was even born. And you find out these things. So it's incredible how that builds your character. So, by the way, you mentioned Tony. So for those who don't you're a Tony Robbins Platinum member.
Yeah, Platinum partner,
How have you enjoyed that experience? And how has that shaped you? Like today, you're basically a well sought after business coach, helping people break through in business. So how is being a Tony Robbins Platinum member, how has that helped shape you?
I mean, that transformed my life in a number of ways. So if I go back before being with Tony, I was already...
It just sounds awesome, by the way. Tony Robbins Platinum partner. You're Tony Robbins Platinum partner. It's like, oh, I want to be that.
Hey, listen, and to be in full transparency, to be honest, part of it was ego to get there as well. Like, it's nice for me to say. Like at the time, I remember thinking, I want to be on the other side of that rope, right? And and have those photos and knowing, but and look. At a certain age, at a certain point, and that being one of the pivotal moments, that developed a thing for me that I wanted to get close to winners. And I think we're lucky, way more than when I was growing up and when we were growing up, because we were the same age, I think, pretty much, right? Not everyone was as accessible. Now you can get coaches, you can get mentors, you can get close to people that have been where you want to go and that will guide you. But back then, my early years, you couldn't. So in my first business, I had a lot of success in nightclubs and promotions, right? So that's where I made my first few million, basically. And when I found Tony, and I got introduced to Tony, I was again going through another dramatic negative point in my life with family and stuff like that. But I'd made some money and I had a level of success. And just hearing him, I was really overweight. I struggled with my weight. I was of a belief system that this is just my body. I tried paying personal trainers and all sorts of stuff, liposuction in Harley Street, like the best medical place in London. Doing anything to get that happiness.
Right.
And he teaches the science of achievement and the art of fulfillment. Right. So you can have some success, but it doesn't mean you're happy. Right. And being fulfilled is an art. But anyway, getting around Tony and him teaching all the stuff it taught completely transformed my life, and it will transform my son's life, and it will transform us for generations, because it taught me the difference of education. Like, no one teaches us, and it's probably more publicized now, but no one in schools, we talk about science and geography and history. No one's talking about nutrition and money management and emotional management and leadership skills and all these sorts of things, right? So, and we were just talking earlier today about homeschooling and stuff like that, right? But I remember going there thinking, what I'm learning now, I found Tony around the age of 35. It was like a different school. It was like, I've been in school learning this stuff, but this guy's actually teaching me like how nutrition affects my body and how I should fuel my body to be fit and healthy and what the importance of that is, right? How to manage my emotions. I mean that's what I think I'm alive today because of that.
Very interesting. the non-business factors that we're discussing now, how much has that helped actually, because I feel like people don't talk enough about this, how much has that actually helped you grow your business?
Oh, well, so I mean, well,
Or I should say businesses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that in itself, by the way, Tony, some of the stuff I learned from Tony, I've had other mentors in other businesses as well, but some of the stuff I've learned of how to manage my time, how to be outcome focused, has also enabled me to have multiple businesses, international businesses, in such different markets.
That was one of the things that really intrigued me about you the most is, I was like, wow, this dude's got multiple seven-figure businesses in multiple industries.
Yeah.
You've made over 100 million, and that's not common. I think that a lot of people, well, first of all, very few people get to the numbers that you have, but then to do that across several sectors, to me, because you do have some flash in the pan, a little bit of luck, a little bit right time, right place.
Yeah, I think everybody does. Yeah,
that exists. But meeting someone in one industry, but someone like yourself who's done it across multiple industries, that's not luck.
Well, there's a level of luck and grace. Building them didn't feel like luck. Let me tell you that. You know, when you're in the middle of the storm, you know, it doesn't feel that way. But you know, you come out the other end. And it's been an evolution. You know, so I got into my first business in nightclubs through a love for people. I mean, again, talking now, going through what I've been through, I can reflect on it with a lot more maturity and understanding. Whereas when I was younger, I was just hustling and doing stuff, and you know, and again, the decisions I make now are much more calculated than what they were when I was younger. But I love people. I got out into nightclubs, and that taught me how to have a good work ethic, how to market, how to understand people, things. I suppose, and putting together like creating an event that's going to attract a lot of people. So that's one set of skills that maybe was partly inherent, maybe it's partly learned along the way, looking at other people. Then I had a contracting business, which I exited for 7 figures. That was a family business. And again, you learn a lot from mistakes as well, which is another thing. This is another reason why there's such value in people like Tony and business coaches and mentors, and why I'm good at what I do and why I have a job is because someone taught me this. People cut the check for speed and having not suffering the mistakes. When you build a business for your own from the bottom up, you face a lot of mistakes, and some people recover from those mistakes and some people don't. I think there is a level of luck and grace that I've got through some stuff that maybe I shouldn't thought I might not. I've got the contracting business that taught me a load of stuff, and again, we had like 45 staff, so understanding the dynamic of actually managing staff. Then I got into network marketing, which I'm in the top 0.5% of one of the best network marketing companies in the world, and I've got business in 42 countries with that company. Now,
I'll tell you something. I'm going to take. Man, it's so interesting because I've got clients in different countries as well, but it's to have customers in 42 countries means that you're speaking, because you and I have traveled quite a bit, all these different cultures and different nuances, and so you might give a speech. I remember learning this. You might give a speech in America, and for example, people they start laughing, but then you might go to like Malaysia, give the exact same speech, and no one's laughing.
Yeah,
right?
There's
different people. That happened to me. That's happened to me. And so for you to actually land thousands of people across the world means that you're truly kind of mastered the fundamentals of communication. I mean, where did you learn that?
Well, again, so network marketing for me, I think is a great school. I think it's a great business. Very synergistic with what, again, going back to Tony Robbins, what he teaches. I had an incredible mentor within network marketing that just, again, alongside Tony, transformed my life.
So it seems like this is kind of the pattern. One of the reasons for your success is that you've aligned yourself with people who are more successful than you.
I mean, look, I invested in myself, and I think it's Warren Buffett says the best investment you can make is investing in yourself. I invested in myself with the right people. I got people that got close to me. I read the books, by the way, like Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. The first book I read transformed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, first book I read on business transformed my life. And I remember growing up, my parents were very poor. And they had a poor psychology. They had the poor dad psychology. Money's. I grew up in a recession. We had a business, and it was a struggle. It was like a surviving business. There's no money out there. And I remember reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, and it was like money's in circulation. It's always flowing somewhere. There's never a scarcity of money. It's just flowing somewhere else. Now I just, okay, if I add, and this is Jim Rohn, if I add more value to the marketplace is going to pay me more money. So I just thought, hey, if my competitor's doing 10 million and we're doing 1 million, if I can just steal 1 million from them of their business, then we're doubling. And you know, so that was that. But getting with a mentor that could know me, understand my personality, see my pitfalls, guide me to things that I needed was a game changer. Yeah.
Well, how much do you think over the years you've spent on mentors?
Over $1 million. I mean, I've done over $1 million with just with Tony Robbins alone. I've done all sorts of stuff, and the more I've got into stuff, I've become more spiritual. So I've had like spiritual mentors as well as business mentors. But you asked me before, and you said, what's the benefit outside of just the business stuff, right? That I got, because I think that when you make an investment, or when I made the investment, it was a business decision. It was like, if I invest this, I want my return to be 3 to 5 times that, or more than what I'm investing. Then it makes sense. And like I said, partially that, you know, with Tony, we were traveling around the world, and I love traveling. So it was like, he would go to places I hadn't been in, like Fiji, and I was like, okay. So I justified it to myself. But really, you're looking for the return. But you know, like you say, you might not get what you want, but you get what you need when you take on these journeys, right? And you might think you need something, but that mentor's going to tell you, no, this is where you really need it. And it can be in your relationships, it can be in your health. So, you know, I mean, it transformed my health, being with Tony. It helped me understand relationships, it helped me understand myself and develop my emotional intelligence, right? And then, again, I go back to compassion. When you talk about having a business in like 42 countries, as humans, we're more similar than different. There are different cultures, there are different languages, there are barriers, but we all feel fear, we all feel excitement, we all have ambition, all of these things, we all want to be loved, right? And so when you can understand those core values and you can communicate in such a way, like, so, and you used, like, you know, when you tell a joke and someone might not get it, there's generally 2 ways we connect with people. One is with humor, and one is through pain.
Do you think that a lot of people in pain communicate through humor?
Yeah, as a mask, you mean? Yeah, I mean, for sure. But I'm just saying that when you go into a room of people and you want to connect, you know, it's either people are either going to laugh and hey, he's pretty funny, or you can connect on pain, right? And but yeah, I think we're more similar than different. I think that
you know, it's funny because I've interviewed a lot of top-notch people like yourself. And this is one of the common threads. They've all spent, the big players like yourself have all spent 7 figures. One of my biggest regrets in my career is that I haven't spent, I mean, obviously, you know, continue to do so, but in retrospect, I wish I spent a lot more, even though I've spent a considerable amount. But in other words, it's a simple formula, right? It's what Tony Robbins teaches, and I believe what Jim Rohn, who his mentor, taught him. And then Jim Rohn's mentor was
El Shof.
Yeah, was there someone else?
No, El Shof was Jim Rohn.
Okay, wow, that's incredible. And that was, if you want to be successful, find someone else who's doing better than you, do exactly what they do just as better, if not, do just as good, if not better. Yeah. Right? One of the things I like about, you know, you're a business coach, and one of the criticisms of the coaching world, business coaching world, is you know, they've made the word guru a bad word. Funny, Tony Robbins did that.
I'm not your guru.
Documentary. I'm not your guru. And what do they mean by guru? The negative connotation about coaching and guru is what? Oh, they're just when they work with someone, or they're just a number, or they're just somebody.